action. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching another episode of These Nuts Podcast. If this is your first time here, we're happy to have you. Please remember to hit the subscribe button. That's what helps us keep doing this. And if you're one of our loyal listeners, hi.
Hi.
We're happy you're back.
Welcome back. Okay.
We were just talking about, I don't think we're going to do updates this week.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything. Last week we talked about the Richardsons, Sarah Blakely with Spanx. What did we talk about before that? I don't even remember.
Oh, I mean, we're just so full of it. We can't.
Gosh. It's just like episode after episode after episode. We're turning them out.
I'm kind of excited you go first this week because I really just am in the mood to just chill for a minute and listen to a great story.
I'm sure. Amy's had a long day at work.
Man. That's putting it nicely. At one point, I sent Katie a, did we say GIF or GIF?
I say both, whatever I'm in the mood for.
I sent her a GIF of the Hulk. That was my vibe today.
Yes, it really was. I was even a little scared.
The growling, the breaking of file cabinets.
That was right before she said she was going to give me a black eye.
Oh, I can't believe I even have a job.
I'm lucky we made it through here looking great.
Put together we look.
Okay, it's my week to go first, just like you said. We say that every week too.
Nothing wrong with it.
So I'm going to tell you a story, which is a little true crime, but not entirely, I guess. And I'm wondering if you've heard of the story. I am going to tell you a story about a family, and I don't know exactly their ethnicity other than Spanish. I know that's not official, so I'm going to butcher some of their names.
Oh,
so
good.
Just know that. But I know you do think you speak Spanish.
I will interpret.
Thank you. So don't stop me, but tell me if you've heard of this once I start getting into it. So the Cuevas family.
Familia. Oh, not the whole episode.
No, keep it going, please.
I'll just do random words when I feel it's appropriate. I've not heard of the. Are you saying huevos?
No.
Because I think huevos is balls in Spanish.
This.
Huevos, huevos.
You're the Spanish speaker.
There's many different regions, and they pronounce that differently.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyways, this family lived in North Philadelphia.
Born and raised. I bet on the playground is where they spent most of their days. I always have to go there.
I put it in there on purpose. I knew I could get it out of you.
You knew. Amy likes the Fresh Prince, so.
Yes. You don't, though.
I don't. I used to, though, clearly.
Okay. But they did live in North Philadelphia. I believe. I did see conflicting reports that they lived in New Jersey, so they lived on the East Coast.
Okay, thank you. I hope this is a funny story.
It's really not.
Poor people. I'm going to move to North Philadelphia someday. When I'm too old to play basketball.
Oh, yes.
That was just today, by the way.
Great. Anyways, so this is the year 1997.
Oh, I love 1997.
Where were you in 1997?
Oh, Star was born in 96.
Yes.
So I was a mom.
Of two.
Of two, yeah. Gabe and Star were both toddling around. 1997. I probably lived in Attica.
Okay.
I hadn't quite developed my severe drinking problem yet.
Okay.
So it wasn't a bad time in Amy's life.
You were living a good life.
Yeah, it was okay.
Aw, I love that. These guys weren't.
Didn't mean to throw it in their faces.
Jeez. So the family was the mother, who I'm going to call Luzeta. Again, I could not be pronouncing those names completely wrong. So
Luzeta. Luzeta?
Luzeta.
Okay. Both are very beautiful.
Thank you.
Like they're yours. Thank you.
Then there was the father, Pedro.
Pedro.
You're so authentic.
We are not making fun of Spanish accents at all. We're making fun of me because I pretend like I have the best one in town when really it's that.
You don't
just
know.
heard it. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 brothers whose names I do not know.
Oh, okay.
And
can we call them Mario and Luigi?
No, we cannot.
Okay. And we're just 2 brothers I thought of.
Can we? Will that get us?
They're Italian.
Canceled?
They're Italian. They're just Italian brothers, Katie. I didn't do anything wrong that time, but thanks for having my back.
I am consistently trying to make sure Amy does not get us canceled.
Before we take off. Okay.
If their names were Mario and Luigi and they were Italian, fine. You can call them that. They don't really have a big part in the story.
I can't wait to see the instant replay where you were like, no, we cannot. Can we call them Mario and Luigi?
No, we cannot.
Okay.
And
sorry, 2 unknown brothers.
Baby Delimar.
Aww.
Little baby girl, 10 days old when this story takes place. So here's a picture. I couldn't find a picture of the whole family from this time, but this is a picture of little baby Delimar.
That's 10 days old?
10 days old.
She looks so good.
She's so cute.
She's a doll baby.
I'll put her little picture right here.
Isn't she cute? Star had a headband, something like that, when I had her picture taken in the hospital.
Yeah, she is cute right there. So it is the chilly East Coast evening of December 15th, 1997.
Okay. You really painted a picture.
I tried to. I feel like that's what you do.
Yeah, I love it.
You inspire me.
I got a little chill thinking about it.
Some bird.
Yeah.
Snow.
The breeze from the water.
Yeah.
No. Isn't there an ocean up there?
In Philadelphia? No. Maybe part of a Great Lake. I thought you were born and raised there.
I majored in geography. Clearly.
Anyways, I'm going to take a quick pause because now I am paranoid because my mic wasn't working last week. So I just had to make sure my little green light was still on there. It is. Yours is great. Okay. Anyways, December 15th, 1997.
Okay.
Luzada is coming home. She was out looking for a job.
Oh.
And
after giving birth 10 days ago.
That's kind of what I thought, but this isn't my story.
Fair enough.
So at home were her 2 little boys and her little girl, Delimar, with her mother-in-law.
Okay.
So Pedro, her husband, was out visiting relatives. Grandma was at home watching the babies, and Luzada pulls up, and I'm really just going to get right into it. The house is on fire.
Oh my gosh.
So she runs into the home. She's able to usher Grandma and the boys out, and she goes up to Delimar's room to get her out of her crib, and the crib's empty. And she's panicking.
Okay. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Can you make them appear when I do that?
Sure. How many times?
I think we're good now.
Okay.
I didn't invite her to play red flag.
This is the attitude I've been dealing with all day.
Yeah, it's with me all day.
Come on.
Wait till I tell you my story.
Okay. You said earlier I was going to be excited, so yeah. I don't know why you say it like that.
Especially since, okay, never mind. You won't be excited. Okay. Empty bed, house on fire, a mother-in-law and 2 toddlers that can't find their way out the door until Luzada gets there.
Yep. So Luzada comes out of the house, the firefighters are there, and she tells them, my baby is missing. She's just gone. I went in, I fought the fire to try to get her out, and she's not in her crib. And they're like, ma'am, you need to calm down. Your face is really burnt. We got to get you to the hospital. We're going to put this fire out. Don't worry. We're going to take care of things. And so they send her to the hospital.
You know what calms a woman down really fast when she's upset?
What?
Telling her to calm down.
I know. I never feel more calm when Jacob's like, just calm down.
Right? I'm like, thank you for that wonderful advice. I think I'll calm down.
I didn't think of that.
So way to go, firefighters.
Yeah. So it does go to the hospital.
It does, or
she does.
She is, okay.
And the family does. And as I'm telling you this story, you're going to think it's over. And then it's going to keep going. And then it's going to be over. And then it's going to keep going.
Oh, my gosh.
So they get the fire out. They meet with the family. And they say, I'm really sorry, but you lost your baby in the fire. She wasn't missing. We couldn't find her. But we're going to declare her as dead because that's the only thing that makes sense. Like, there's nothing. There was a fire, So they said that the fire was accidentally started by a homemade extension cord. I don't even know what that means. But unless it's just like too many extension cords plugged into each other. Weird.
Well, I come from a poor background.
So do I.
So what I'm picturing is they had one extension cord that worked really well. It was really long, and then part of it like got bent or broke off.
Oh,
so they took another extension cord and spliced it together.
Oh, no, that's not what I was thinking.
I've seen that done before.
We never did that growing up.
Two extension. I mean, we did, but I feel like
somebody would have.
What are those men called that live in your home when you're small?
I just can't even think of the name.
But I think one of those people.
Mom?
No, the opposite of mom.
Okay. So that was it. They just declared little baby Delimar.
They just said she must have burnt completely up in the fire.
No remains.
Oh.
But something kind of suspicious to Luzeta was her bedroom window was open. And it's December 15th.
Right.
Why?
Right.
And her crib is just empty and no remains. So, the family started to move on with their life.
What choice do you have?
Yeah. But Luzeta would tell anybody that would listen, we had a house fire, but that is not how my daughter died. She was kidnapped. She did not die. She was kidnapped.
A mother knows.
Yes.
Ugh.
She does. Everybody, though, just thought she was crazy. The police would refuse to open an investigation. They just would brush her off. Friends and family were just like not really having it.
Even they were like, you have to accept it.
Yeah. Have you heard this story before?
No.
Okay.
I haven't. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well,
not literally. But...
they've even made a movie about it.
What?
So that's why I wondered.
No. What's the movie called? Me asking the hard question.
I have to look it up. It was a Lifetime movie.
Okay.
So I'm not certain. Anyways.
Sorry.
So even her husband, Pedro, was like, you have to move on. You've got to let this go. Delimar's gone. Like, there's nothing we can do about it anymore. She died in the fire. And Luzeta she would not. She would just keep with...
How sad for her. She didn't have anybody.
Nobody. So her and Pedro ended up having another child. And then they split up about 3 years later. And one day in 2003, so 7 years later?
96.
6 years later?
Yeah, sounds about right to me.
6 years later, Pedro's sister invites Luzeta and her boys to come to one of her kids' birthday party. They're like, come over.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to have a birthday party. Like, we want you to come over. And that wasn't out of the ordinary. They're family, I
know, but now I feel like since you're telling me about it, something crazy is about to happen.
So they get there and there's friends and family there. And one of Pedro's cousins, Caroline, is there with her daughter. And Caroline's daughter's name is Aaliyah. Okay.
Pedro's cousin.
Cousin by marriage. So Caroline was dating or married Pedro's brother or something. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I should have Googled it.
Well, then that would have been her ex-sister-in-law. So,
came to her nieces and nephews' birthday party.
Okay. So family of Pedro.
Yeah. So Luzeta is there and she sees Aaliyah and she's like, oh my God. that girl looks like me. That girl has the same dimples that Delimar had.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's my daughter. And so she's smart. Everybody thinks she's crazy already. So she doesn't try to call any attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, hey, Aaliyah, come here. You have some gum stuck in your hair. Let me get it out.
Oh, yeah.
Genius.
Oh, wow. I don't even know if I would have thought of that.
No.
I would have panicked.
Yeah. So Aaliyah comes over and she gets this gum out of her hair and takes a couple strands. And she puts it in a napkin, shoves it in her purse, and they go on with the party.
Oh my goodness.
And this whole time she's like, I think that's my
I wouldn't be able to take my eyes off of that child.
So after the party, Luzeta calls the police and she says, hey, I think I found my daughter. I know you guys said that she died in the fire, but I think I found her. And the police said, there's no way. We can't do anything about this. It's too far-fetched because you think a little girl looks like your family.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Who's a relative, really.
Right. So Luzeta did not give up. She contacted the state representative by the name of Angel Cruz, and he was like intrigued by her story.
Yeah.
So he contacted the authorities and put a lot of pressure on them until they finally said, okay, we'll do a DNA test. And it was a match. It was Aaliyah was Delimar.
Oh my goodness.
I know. But the story's not over.
I want more information.
I told you would think it's over, and it's not. So here's a cute little picture that I'll post of little Aaliyah, but Delimar,
right,
and her mom.
Her biological mom.
Biological mother.
I'm so sad. I'm happy for this mom because she's lost all those years, and who was in on it, and how did this happen? And
let me tell you.
Okay.
Don't cry.
It's so sad.
You make me cry.
Oh,
it says it's supposed to be a feel-good story.
Oh, I'm so happy they're reunited.
So, Caroline was detained. I think it's Carolyn. I think I've been saying it wrong.
Carolyn
was detained. And they did another DNA test on Carolyn against Aaliyah. And the test again confirmed that Aaliyah and Carolyn were not mother-daughter. So she was arrested and charged.
She had to be freaking out.
With kidnapping. Oh, she has a whole story.
Mm.
Within a month, Delimar was reunited. She was living back at home with mom and her brothers, and her parents had already split, so that really stinks. But
the mom had to be in that dad's face. She had to be in everybody's face.
I told you so.
Man.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about the investigation and Carolyn.
Yeah.
This is her.
Okay.
So you kind of have an idea of what she looks like. So
she looks a little beat up, like rough and tired there, but I would be too if I was in jail.
Yeah.
Again.
I would imagine. I've never been in jail. So they did an investigation, like how did she abduct her? How did this fire start? Yeah. How did this happen? And Carolyn had gone to the family's home the day before, and she was just kind of hanging out and visiting, and she was pregnant. And she came back the next day and said, I'm so sorry, I lost my purse. I think I might have left it upstairs. Do you guys mind if I go in and get it? They're like, yeah, no problem. Come in. Like, your family. That's fine.
Right.
So she went in the home and very quickly came back out with her purse, and almost immediately the fire started. So
the mother-in-law let her in because the mom was out job hunting.
Yeah, and she said she left her purse. She was just there the day before hanging out with the whole family, including the mom.
Okay.
So the fire started. Well, Carolyn went home. Nothing. Like she doesn't live there, so
right, yeah.
Wasn't really her problem. Well, on the way home, she called her boyfriend, Andre, and said, I just gave birth at home, and I have a little baby. Let's name her Aaliyah after the singer.
Okay.
Some might appreciate that. I don't really. Aaliyah was before my time.
Yeah, I wasn't an Aaliyah fan, but I know she's an artist. She's talented.
So they have the baby.
Oh my God.
Poor Luzada and her family's world is being crushed, and now you've got Carolyn and Andre and Aaliyah, and they're on top of the world. They've got their family now. Well, a couple of years later, Andre starts getting suspicious, and he's like, I don't think that's my baby.
Oh.
So he took a paternity test, and it came back, and he said, that's not my baby. You've cheated on me. I'm leaving you.
I mean, that would be the first assumption, not that you've burned down my cousin's house and stolen his infant.
Right.
You've cheated on me.
You've cheated on me. So he leaves. She raises Delimar on her own for the first 6 years of her life, just 3 miles away from where her family lived, her real family lived.
Oh my gosh. This woman's terrible.
Terrible. So they did, obviously 6 years later, they find out that she's got Delimar. Despite the DNA test, though, Carolyn said, that's my daughter. And if that's not my daughter, who took my baby? That was one game she was trying to play. Which, if she was pregnant,
I think she was faking it to keep her man, is what I'm thinking, which did not work out too well.
No, it didn't. So, fun fact, Carolyn had her tubes tied in 1990. This was
never had any children, but had
Never.
her tubes tied, and then faked a pregnancy.
Right.
The psychology, like, what's going on?
Right. So she's arrested. There is, she has a couple of psychiatric interviews for court. She takes the stand, and the forensic psychologist found that Carolyn suffered from pseudocyesis. I don't know if that's how I say it, but it's a condition. This word right here. Yeah.
I mean, I would have said it the same way.
It's a condition where a woman really truly believes that she is pregnant.
Okay. Up until the point where you don't produce a baby, but you don't steal one.
Right. So she's on the stand, and in the middle of public court, she says, well, actually, Pedro and I have been having an affair.
Oh,
remember, it's her cousin by marriage, so they're not related.
Right.
And I had a stillborn, and he gave me Delimar. He said I could have her.
Bull crap.
Pedro said, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm with Pedro.
I never would. And he was questioned, but he ended up being cleared.
Okay.
There was no medical records to ever prove that she was pregnant. She never gave birth. Something that I noted in here, which isn't really, well, it's kind of related, but she was, where did I put it? 2 years before the fire, so in 1995, Carolyn set a clinic on fire because she was fired for fraud.
Oh my gosh.
So this woman is crazy.
So, and she has a history of starting fires.
And yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So she was sentenced to 30 years in prison. The judge said, I don't think you have that condition that the psychologist said. I think you're manipulative. I think you're crazy, and you're going away.
Oh, good.
I did see that she became eligible for parole in 2014, but then I couldn't find anything else. on her. But I wanted to show you this picture of grown up baby Delimar.
Okay. She go by Delimar now?
Yes.
Was she treated kindly before?
Like
when she was with the other
Carolyn?
woman? Yeah.
Yes. But
aww.
She's
beautiful. Yeah. She looks happy and healthy.
So
wow.
That's my story of baby Delimar, who lived just 3 miles away from home for the first 6 years of her life. And
I wonder if, because you said she kind of busted her at that birthday party of a family member. Was that the first time she brought her? Was it the first time it clicked for the mom?
I think it was the first time they'd been there together or seen her. Because it was like the second that she saw her, it just was like, there's no denying that's my child. And I am kind of intrigued to watch the movie. I'll have to Google it again and see what it was called. But there was a couple of just actresses that I saw based on pictures that I've seen in other shows.
Yeah.
Nobody that's super famous, but made me want to watch it.
Yeah.
But I did read the movie is a lot more Hollywood than what the story was. Like, the house fire started at a Christmas party, and that's not really how it really happened. Right. But so like a bittersweet ending. Like that poor mom, everybody thought she was crazy and wouldn't give her the time of day.
Man.
And she knew.
That's so, I can't believe I haven't heard of this before.
I couldn't believe it either, because when I Googled it, I was like, oh, based on this quick Google search, Amy's surely known about it because true crime and everything.
No, that's so sad though. If I really put myself in her shoes, I just am sick to lose that amount of time with your child.
Especially, I mean, from 0 to 6 years, that baby was 10 days. The first 6 years of their lives, think how much they develop. They start talking, they're walking, they're being potty trained. Like,
when she was sad, she was clinging to the woman who stole her. Like, it's just so sad.
And I think that was her. I could be wrong, but I think that was her only daughter. So it's like,
right.
I know there's a different experience with little boys versus little girls. So, yeah. So sad, but also a happy ending.
Dang. All right, well, I'll get into mine.
Okay.
Excuse me. So, Katie, I'm going to tell you.
I'm intrigued.
About the coworker from hell.
What if she watches this?
Are you watching? So, this person is crazy.
I am excited. I don't know where this is going.
I knew you would have this reaction, like, is she gonna really tell that story?
Are you really gonna tell that story? Because nobody has to know that's the story, but that's the story.
This person is crazy. This person,
I am on the edge.
Can't be trusted. This person will literally do almost anything to try to destroy their coworker's life. And his name is Denis Czajkoski.
I'm still not convinced she hasn't changed the names and genders in this real story.
Oh, so I just wanted to kind of give Katie that little teaser because we had an interesting experience with a coworker one time.
I mean, I don't see why we can't tell this story. You don't have to tell it right now, but
it's a doozy. Maybe for the Patreon or something sometime. But honestly, this tells the story of a coworker that snaps and takes it to the next level. And I've honestly been in a position where I've been frightened.
Oh, okay.
By a coworker.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because I'm like, if they'll do this, what will they do next?
Like,
if they'll do that,
to the point to where you fear for your life.
Yeah. Or my vehicle, or vandalism, or yeah.
Oh, I'm excited now.
So this guy's name, as I said, it's Denis, and the name starts with a C, but when I heard it pronounced, they were saying Czajkoski.
Okay.
And he was a nurse in a psychiatric hospital.
Oh, okay.
And his manager's name was Maria. Let me look. Maria Jordan.
Okay.
And she was like the director of nursing. And Maria had this friend, and her name was Carol Kepner. Okay, so the players in this are buddies, Maria and Carol, crazy person, Denis. So like Katie and Amy.
And crazy person. Glad we're all on the same page. You know.
And so Denis, like I said, Maria was the director of nursing, and then one of her managers, Carol.
Okay.
Carol, Maria, Denis. Okay, and they all worked at the state hospital. And as the director of nursing, well, everybody was kind of like, what's going on with Denis? He was rude to staff. He was rude to his coworkers. He was rude to patients that were staying there. But even more than rude, just like almost accusatory and living in his own little world. And everybody was out to get him.
Check.
I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to terrible coworkers.
I hope our terrible coworker is watching.
I hope so too. That's kind of a dream of mine. I was hoping she started sweating a little bit when I said all this. Ex-coworker. Yeah. Did you say former?
No, I didn't. But yeah. Good point.
Yeah. We don't currently work with this person. So, like I said, they're noticing this at work, and it's kind of creating a buzz, just like what a jerk he is.
Yeah.
And it falls on Maria as the director of nursing to kind of implement a plan of action.
Right.
And so initially she tries talking to Denis, like, we're noticing these behaviors. We're also concerned that there's a drug issue.
Oh, okay.
Heroin, to be specific.
Okay.
And what we'd like to do is help you. We'd like to get you into treatment and then maybe some counseling. And he just was not having it.
What a great employer. Not just like, bye.
Right. I mean, they worked for the state hospital, the middle hospital. So, I don't know if they maybe even were going a little extra, because this was in the 90s too.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find the date really quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but so Carol is the manager, and then Maria is the director of nursing. It kind of falls on them to implement also punishments, and it just wasn't resolving itself. So they did end up terminating him.
Makes sense.
So a couple of weeks pass and everything's fine. They've gotten rid of the problem.
Right.
And everything's fine. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, those troublesome people that have problems mentally resurface. And much like our villain in real life, here comes Denis.
It's always not in the way you think they would resurface, though.
Right. Sometimes it's the way you least expect it.
Yeah.
So one afternoon, Maria is standing up by Carol's desk and they're talking. And who does she see? Just walking right through the door. No security checks, no roadblocks, nothing standing between herself and Carol and Denis. And she sees a gun in his hand.
Oh, no. Gratefully, that's not something we experienced.
No, but when you're dealing with somebody that has a mental problem, I mean, this might be her trigger. Yeeks. We're amping up security, babe. Don't try it.
That's right.
Before she can even really react, he shoots her multiple times.
Oh.
Denis shoots Maria. He shoots her in the kind of like the chest and breast area, in the ankle, in the wrist, so bad that she immediately looks down and can see her bones popping out.
Oh, no.
And she kind of slumps over in the chair and she's just screaming at the top of her lungs, of course. And he tells her, "You be quiet right now or I'm going to kill you." And I actually watched her last night on an episode of I Survived on Hulu. So if anybody wants to see more kind of from her personally, it's an episode of I Survived. And she said, I thought to myself, I'm in so much pain. I'm literally dying. I just want to like scream out for my husband.
Right. Yeah.
And she thought to herself, I don't even know if I can be quiet, but if I don't, he's going to kill me. So somehow she goes dead silent. And Carol, who's her friend, it'd be like you seeing me get shot multiple times. Can you imagine the fear and the adrenaline? But luckily for her, you know, Carol's a nurse.
Yeah.
So she's, you know, she doesn't want to make a big scene either and get shot too.
Right.
Everybody in the building hears it. It like echoes through the whole building. They hear all these shots. They hear Maria screaming.
Yeah.
So they immediately kind of lock up where they can and they call 911. So Maria is thinking, oh, help's on the way. You know, help is on the way. I just got to hang in there. And you can tell because I'm telling you what Maria has said that Maria does survive. And she's on an episode of I Survived.
You did in fact say, I survived.
I survived. So it starts out, he handcuffs Carol and Maria together, which is kind of handy because then Maria can like apply pressure to her wounds and, you know, kind of wrap things up and like little makeshift tourniquets and stuff. And it's not long she can hear all the police coming. So again, Maria is kind of slumped over in this chair thinking, help is on the way. Help is on the way.
Just hold on.
Just hang in there a little bit longer. Well, then afternoon turns to night and they're still in there and nobody's busting down the door. Nobody's come through. He's pulled all the curtains shut or blinds shut. So nobody can see in. They can't see out. They can barely tell if it's day or night, but they just know we've been at work a long time. They know it's night.
I feel like I'm watching an episode of TV right now.
That's telling a good story.
This is great.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And, you know, Maria said that it was really nice to be handcuffed to Carol because she kind of just had like that piece of humanity. She could like look into her friend's eyes, I know, and just feel like, okay, I have my friend here with me. This is terrible, but at least I'm not alone.
Right.
You know, even though she didn't want anybody else to get hurt, she was so grateful. It was like, so sad. And then when it got to be super, super late and Denis was getting... So imagine this. He's still ranting like a madman.
Yeah.
He is saying things like, I want the CIA here to investigate my dismissal. This is your guys' fault. Like basically blaming them. Mostly Maria, but Carol as well.
Okay, pause. I don't mean to cut off your story, but last week in my episode, you told a story about when you were in the 3rd grade and you wrote a poem that we saved for the Patreon. I'm not going to save this for the Patreon, but you just made this pop into my head.
I can't wait.
When I was in the 5th grade, I had to write, I don't know, some like assignment about my family. And at the time, my dad worked at Subaru. And I know, I can't believe I just said it.
I know, I was like, that flowed out real nice.
And in my thing, I was young. I didn't know. I put my dad works at CIA. And my teacher put SIA ? So that was just a funny little side story that you made me think of. But
that's cute.
I don't mean to interrupt your story.
So yeah, he wanted the feds in there.
The SIA.
The Subaru Isuzu automotive employees. To investigate his dismissal. He said it was without just cause. And
just cause you're crazy.
Yeah. No, we had the just cause. And the police eventually came on the bullhorn. And it was a female voice. They thought that would help. To probably have, you know, a soothing woman, you know, try to talk him down, not a confrontational man where he might feel not men are confrontational.
Calm down.
Right. Just calm down, sir.
That'll make him feel calm. That was their mistake.
Yeah, we needed a man on the bullhorn.
Jeez.
So the woman's like, just trying to reason with him. Dennis, we're not going to be able to get it resolved this way, but if you'll just let the women go, then we can come in and talk to you and we can make a plan. And it was just infuriating him. It's making him mad.
He was ticked.
I love how I can speak. And then once an episode, I just butcher 5 words.
I love that we're probably the only ones laughing right now and none of the nutlets are.
No, they are. They're chuckling. I know. I believe in him. It made him mad, Katie. And so, obviously, he wasn't going to release the women and have a talk with the police officer. So then the next morning comes. Oh, I didn't tell you this. So when he got tired, Maria said that he then just tied them to him, and they had to lay there and listen to him snore.
I mean, at least he's asleep and not screaming anymore.
I know, but you're like, oh, sorry, are we?
They couldn't untie themselves?
They were handcuffed together.
Oh, yes.
And you got to remember, Maria's gravely injured.
Right.
Her foot fell asleep at one point, and it was like that tingly, awful feeling. And she said, I just let it lay there and sleep and hurt because I was afraid the slightest movement, because he had said, if you try to escape, you wake me up, I'm going to kill you. So they were too scared.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if they got away from him, then Carol's got to drag Maria out because she's shot in multiple places.
I'm sorry, I just don't understand why the CIA has not broke down the door yet.
I know. That's what Maria kept saying. She kept thinking, okay, it's night. Now they're going to do it. It's been 2 hours. Now they're going to do it.
He's sleeping right here. Just come in.
Come on in.
Oh.
They didn't, though. So then the next morning, he was hungry. So they put food outside the door for him, and it was like bologna sandwiches and chips or something. And for the ladies, too. But it was still it wasn't like they were bringing soup or sending in Band-Aids or anything.
Bringing him food.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hostage negotiation at its finest.
I guess.
And I guess he offered the ladies some bologna and chips, and Maria just said, if I had a last meal, I've already had it. It's not going to be that with you.
No.
So she didn't eat. And then she was losing blood.
Yeah.
And she told Carol, like, I'm getting so cold, which is probably a bad sign. I'm not a doctor, but
I do watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy.
That's not good, right?
No, and they did have a shooting episode. No, that's bad.
It seems bad. She had worn like a really light jacket that day. So Carol asked Dennis, may I please get her jacket and just wrap it around her or something? And he did allow that. He's such a nice guy.
Oh, man, gentleman.
I know. Chivalry is not dead. So that whole day, same thing, just listening to him rant. And they're so scared because his rant is, this is your guys' fault. You're the one that cost me my job. I wasn't fired for good cause. I'm not letting you guys go until the CIA investigates what you've done to me. And
what is the CIA going to do? They don't care who works and who doesn't.
Who works where? They got bigger fish to fry.
Oh my gosh.
Katie, day turns into night.
Maybe this is one of those things where you had to be there. But in my mind right now, if I was Maria's family, I would have sued the police for why are you feeding this man who is holding this gravely injured woman who's pretty much on her deathbed?
Yes. Yeah.
Why are you feeding him and just letting him sleep? Why does he get to do these things?
I know. It's so terrible. And I mean, they had to be losing hope. 2 days shot multiple times with a madman.
Like, what point? Why at this point have they not, like, what are they trying to avoid? Like him shooting Carol? Because Maria's already practically dead.
I couldn't find anything from their perspective what was going on behind the scenes. The only thing I can figure out is they were game planning. They had the old football board up and they were like, tight end, just going to go around here. I'm going to need the QB and QB spot.
You're going to have to tell me what type of football things to put up on the screen.
I don't know.
Here.
I just like saying tight end. Anyway, that's what I imagined was happening.
Okay.
So finally, after 48.5 hours.
Oh my God.
The SWAT team burst through the doors.
Well, it's about damn time.
Denis is asleep. When he hears them come through, he wakes up and immediately shoots Maria 2 more times.
Oh my gosh. I mean, they're already in there, so just get her.
Yeah.
Like at that point.
Luckily, it was the chest. I mean, not luckily, but it was not her head. You know what I mean? He shot her again in the chest, and then I think in the side maybe. And she's immediately rushed out. She's taken to the hospital. She's in surgery for quite some time. Who knows how long? She wakes up. She sees her husband. The first thing she says is, "How's Carol?"
Aww.
In the chaos.
Stop it, Amy, right now. You are not going to make me cry about Carol.
I think I might.
It's not funny, but I've got tears coming out of my eyes.
In the chaos, when he shot Maria, he shot Carol in the head, killing her instantly.
Is this a joke?
No. Isn't that so sad?
That is, do you see these tears?
I know. I was kind of emotional when I was listening to it last night. Oh, Maria's devastated. That was her friend and coworker and colleague, and she just had so many wonderful things. I'm going to get emotional now, but she had so many wonderful things to say about what a great, manager she was and how she cared for the mentally ill. I mean, just her job alone tells you what kind of woman she was.
Right.
Well, not necessarily. Dennis did work there too. but you should, she chose a path to help people. She was there nurturing Maria
the whole time.
And in the final moments lost her life. So that's all I have on him. Let me just update you. He did get life in prison.
Wow.
The whole time, even in court, he said that
he maintained that he was fired
unjustly and that he didn't hurt anybody. Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that he is not the one in the rapid craziness of it all. I mean, he shoots twice. They start shooting.
And he's unharmed. And these poor women, one lost her life and one almost did.
That is so sad.
Well, I'll read you just a couple little things. This is out of the Times Herald. Czajkoski closed his remarks by reading 2 passages from the Bible. Oh. He first read Revelations 21-3 about the great snake being locked away for 1,000 years. Then Luke 21:7-9 about tribulations and end times. Like Maria, the district attorney, Bruce J. Castor Jr., urged the judge, Tesler, to impose the maximum possible sentence. Anything less than death is still not enough, said Castor, who agreed not to seek the death penalty in exchange for Czajkoski, I'm sorry, I say his name different each time, agreeing to a non-jury trial. You, Mr. Czajkoski, are the one who did it. You must pay for it. When he addressed the court, Denis, I'm not even going to try to say his last name again, addressed Castor during his final statement, saying his offer for a non-jury trial was evidence that Castor knew about the alleged conspiracy and was worried jurors would believe his claims.
Right.
Like, the Denis is saying, I only agreed to that because you knew jurors were going to be in on it, and they.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're the ones that started to say I should be fired.
Yeah, he was still like. That's my point. Just even to the bitter end in the courtroom closing statement saying the CIA should have helped me. So, I mean, I do think he was mentally ill, but this is why employers need to protect their employees when they say something's wrong.
Yes, it exactly is. To employer I will not name.
So, yeah. That's
Wow.
all I've got.
That's sad. You made me cry. There weren't a lot of tears.
I just knew you'd get a kick out of the little work teaser, but yeah, I'm so glad.
And he's still alive in prison?
Yeah. He's still serving his life sentence. I'm sure he's miserable. He's living in his own head.
Wow.
It's almost like he's convinced himself that he really didn't kill Carol or hurt Maria.
Wow.
Unless he's just that good of an actor. I mean, he did work on the psych unit as a nurse.
Right.
That's a theory I just now laying out there.
My gosh. That was a good story.
Thank you.
I didn't see Carol coming.
Oh,
that
man.
I really didn't. You said Maria survived and Carol was not shot. So
you thought you were golden, so did I.
If anything, I thought he was going to die when they came in.
I know.
That's so sad. That really took me by surprise.
She was only 56 years old.
Aww.
Just a baby. Just a little
baby. Yeah.
I mean, that is so young.
It really is.
I'm just making a joke because I'm pushing 50 soon.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you guys for listening. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, follow.
Yes.
And we hope you all stay nutty. Can I not get a stay nutty?
Can I get a stay nutty?
What's that voice? I was hoping you were going to jump on what I was doing.
I'm sorry, my glasses are a little
scared from the tears. If I made you cry in this episode, comment below.
Yes. Did you see Carol coming? Did you see her death coming? Because I didn't. That was hard. Anyways, it's like what Amy said, subscribe, like, share. Keep an eye out for our Patreon episode coming out, but stay nutty. That's all we got. That's it.